Well, okay then. Guess I'm gonna film what I do. So, I mean, it's very white, bloody place. And is that? I reckon that's a little aggregate. In which case, that would explain why it's white plagioclase. Because I'm looking at... Huh? Jesus fucking Christ, I have no idea what's going on with rocks sometimes. Oh, that's pretty. I love this. What? Cute. Whoa, look at the shape of this joint. That's just... yes. A bit of a... yeah, got him. Come on, look at it. Yeah, whatever. So I can identify... that's orthoclase. Right there. There's quite a lot of quartz in here as well. More orthoclase everywhere. So it'll be biotite. There's heaps on this face. Shiny. Ooh. I love that. I love rocks. Fuck, I love rocks. Something was in there. Don't know who that would have been. Just let that rest for a minute. The quartz is really clear. Yeah, I mean it's browned. But yeah, that's more biotite. I wish I knew how to figure out where the cordierites are. Is that, or is that a big biotite? Rock. Bedrock. Nearly there. Big boulder. Yoinks. Circle. So soft. Furry. Alright. Near the top. Ooh. Camera doesn't like being in the sun, does it? Me when my eyes. Ooh, buggy. Whoops. Interesting. Nice shiny piece of biotite, look at that. Spider took over the wasp nest. The circle of life. Because that'll be a spider that eats... Sorry, a wasp that eats spiders. I see a little bit of blackening on the rock, which might indicate that there's been some hydrothermal fluids. But also that's unscientific and based on my own hypothesis. Probably don't need to be the one to tell you that I am not a scientist. Dropped out after my first year of uni. Failed the fucking second semester because I was enjoying myself with drugs and friends. So you could say I had a better learning experience than I was getting from that university. But I digress. Athletic. We are near the top now. Whoa, that's this shiny metal here has been driving me mental. Sorry, correction, I don't think it's a metal, mineral. This shiny mineral has been driving me mental for months because I can't figure out what it is. I make the assumption that it's the weathering product of some of the other rocks, minerals in the area. I mean, the shape of it makes me think biotite, right? But it's so white, and all the other biotite that I have seen rusts like metal, like iron, like steel, turning red. And this is not red, distinctly. Will this hold my weight? Fucking... Oh. Oh, these bushes are dead. Or at least dormant. Look at that. So yeah, it's May 28th, 29th, 2025. We are coming up on the last 2 days of autumn before it is winter. And we are still in a drought. Which, I mean, it's not too rare in Australia to see our seasons. You know, in El Nino years, we see a much shorter winter, and in La Nina years, we see a more mild summer. But, well, I don't remember anyone announcing El Nino. Whatever. I've been recording this all in fucking... Look at me. Making it miserable for everyone watching on their computers. Man of the modern years, where the mobile phone dominates. I guess we'll fix that in a minute. When my brain, come on brain, do the thing. I'm gonna have to do it with my left hand. Okay. Oh gosh, I swear to God. I'm probably gonna have to talk to my psychologist about that one. God, I'm sweating. It's hot. I mean, it's probably like 15 degrees, let's be fair. We had a frost this morning. It's cold, but it's not wet. Oh, some very fresh pieces here. So, what do we got in my hand? I am holding granite. Yeah, it's so hard to see just how pink that blood staining is, or if that's banding, if that's agricin, even. You know, hydrothermal fluid, alteration of granite. You know what I mean? Ooh, there's something here. That's hydrothermal. Well, okay, joint. You can see. Yeah, you can see that closer to the hydrothermal fluid. Closer to the hydrothermal fluid, you're looking at alteration. Further away, less alteration, so it's less straight. Oh, moss. God. I don't think I've seen a single fungus yet, to be fair. Who's been looking for fungus? And I don't blame the fungus. Hopefully they aren't harmed by this drought whenever it breaks. Because if it doesn't break soon... I mean, it's good to see that the eucalypts are mostly doing okay. Or, no, those ones died a few years ago, I think. I can't remember what this guy's called. The, cherry? Native cherry? Cherry bollard? semi-parasitic fucker. Oh, I do see some eucalypts that are suffering off in the distance. There's so much. More bedrock, yummy! Bedrock's where you see the best stuff. Because it's the least weathered. You see crossing joints. The songs just stick in the head. The boys would be mad at me for whistling that one. Ah, sail loss. Ho-ho. Look at this beautiful little dike. Dike of apelite in a joint. Not a fat joint now. Just a cheeky little, you know? Just a cheeky little doobskin. The dike of apelite. It's a longer dike than I would have. That's fucking impressive. It goes on. I can follow it. Gosh, how am I going to do this through the camera? I can't see the fucking screen. It goes there, and I'm pointing at that bit there. That's exactly where I'm pointing there, and it goes. I think, but I'm not going to dig it up to find out. That's something you do only on private property with consent of the landowner, or in public land that has been designated for the purpose of. Oh, look at that! Details in the streakies. Yeah, so I'm seeing a fair bit of post-intrusive activity up here. Alright, nearly at those eucalypts that I just mentioned were dead. There we go, there's a proper gap. Yeah. I reckon there'd be stuff down there to dig into. Yeah, look at this. Brown. And not the beautiful red brown of a eucalypt in torpor, but the light pale brown. Fuck me, we're in for a fire season, aren't we? Oh well. Where you see a big ridge, you'll probably find some interesting things there. Well, I can see something interesting straight ahead of me, actually, at my eye level on that rock. That's black from a lichen or an alga. Okay, not what I was expecting when I came over, but I'm not disappointed. Love to go caving. Whoop, spiky bush. That fella, I can't remember what his name is. I'm about 89% certain that it's for basing. My gosh, I am utterly dripping right now with sweat. Oh. Joint. Proper Grayson joint too. Hydrothermal fluid alteration in the joint. I think it's possibly a it looks to me like a deposit, a myarol, or a pipe off a pegmatite. I hear sheeps. Oh wow. No, you probably can't, but I totally can see where... God, no, you totally can't. How the heck are you gonna see that? There's that hill. That's Umbrella Hill. There, and there. Stan's track goes up there. I can see with my eyes, and you cannot see with your eyes because this phone is fucked. Oh, golly goshness. My eye. Come on, come back to 1.0. Whew. Bird in the cherry. I think that's a grey shrike. Yeah, it is. Beautiful, beautiful. There were two of them there too. I love it. I mean, it'd be so lovely for everything to be perfect and straight, but nothing's like that in the real world. We don't do that. And these joints will continue, but they do have a beginning and the end, and an end. And they do bend. Ha! Well, I made it to the top. Okay. So, that direction is to my west-southwest. Oh my god, there are so many birds up here. I mean, you can hear the kookaburras in the background. They're probably drowning my voice out. But there's those two tiny little birds down there. I don't know what they are. I think it might be fairy wrens. That's a spotted pardalot. I know the spotted pardalot from a distance, apparently, with its red spot. Yeah, that called spotted pardalot. Oh, is it? I might be wrong. I don't actually know that. Far out. I've just found a really nice seat that looks out. Oh, that looks out across the plains of north central Victoria. Oh my god. Do you ever just find yourself in a fucking, I guess, you find yourself in this spot that is just by being itself. It's a temple here. I'm awestruck. Like, this is, when Christians talk about fucking finding God. It's this feeling, right? I am one with the universe, and the universe is one with me. In the sense that, there's no part of me that wasn't here when this whole reality was assembled. This Earth, this planet, was built out of, ever expanding clumps of dust and rocks held together by their own gravity in the orbit of a baby star. You know, that my the minerals that make me, the minerals that I am born with are like they were put onto the earth during the creation of the earth because I am a part of the earth, you know? And so I am dismissive of the Christian idea of finding God, I guess. Ooh, the wide frame's actually quite beautiful on this. Okay, well, noted. Um, sorry. Yeah, the God. I don't dispute it. Right? Because it's not possible to dispute that the universe exists, right? It's just not possible to dispute that the universe exists. I mean, you could, I suppose, dispute it if you wanted to get all philosophical about it. Whoops. Apparently philosophy makes me mad enough that I can snap little bits off the rock. Uh, yeah, sorry, you could argue that it doesn't exist, but the reality is that what I am experiencing now tells me that I have experienced at least 25 years. Fuck, I can't remember how old I am. At least 25 years on this earth, you know? It's been a long fucking time. In fact, it's been all of the time I have ever known. And I don't know where I was going with that. And sorry, yeah, I know where I was going with it. For that to be like you know, for that reality to not exist would be to say that everything that I know is not. And like there are very few things that I can know for true, you know? Like all of the facts that you've heard in this so far, you know, they're all just the ramblings out of some 20-something fucking cooked cunt that lives out in the bush, dropped out of uni twice. Like, you know, I can't know. You know, I don't know enough to build a foundation of what knowing reality is. But there's something I do know. And it's like you are hearing something that is created by it. There's something that I know, and that is the experience that I experience. Right? Does that... It's hard to articulate what I mean, but I say that what I experience can't not be real. Because it's the only thing that matches the description of reality as I understand the term and the concept of reality, right? Like I built my concept of reality around this existence that I believe I am existing in. So to say that it's not real is, you know, it's a this statement is false paradox. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's to argue that reality doesn't exist is paradoxical. Because existence is defined by, I guess, what we experience as reality. And so, yes, I think But this invalidates a lot of aspects of what humans believe we know about reality. For example, the lived experience of those with hallucinations, either be they hallucinating due to a different structure in their brain, maybe, or maybe they are on hallucinogenic drugs, but the experiences used to define reality exist within those experiences as well. You can write them off. You can say no after the fact. But to the person that was there, it's as real as the real world. But there are some things that we can do. Have you ever heard of the scientific method? I have. Not to brag. It's not a religion. You could say it is a dogma, but it's not a religion. We don't worship it. We don't put it on a pedestal. We don't... Actually, I need to rethink that. Maybe it is, in a sense, a religion, because science is a tool in the same way that the Bible was a tool, in that the Bible, what the Bible taught us about morality were essentially people's best guess as to how best to reduce harm. That's my prediction. Or prediction? Post-diction, I guess? That's my diction. Lamau. I'm distracted by this hydrothermal fluid. This is some very, very thick stuff. Woohoo! We got lots of tourmaline, shawl, lots of quartz, lots of feldspars. What? Feldspar, sorry. Corrections, all that. I don't see pockets. No cavity. Okay, back to the topic at hand. The Bible was written to save lives. You know? The Bible does have so many valuable lessons in it about, you know, love thy neighbor, right? Love thy neighbor doesn't mean that you should go out of your way to be kind to the person that lives next door to you, right? Obviously it doesn't. Like, fucking probably like 4,000 years ago, when that was first written down on the stone tablet that Moses carried across the Red Sea, it probably said something more like, see the people around you as your equals. Treat them as your equals. You know, it's... The Bible does exist now as a product of thousands. Like, remember, the Old Testament wasn't written at the time that Jesus was born 2,000 years ago. The Old Testament comes from the Jewish, the Torah, right? Is that how you say it? Torah? Torah? I can't fucking English. Or Yiddish, or Hebrew, as the case may be. That book was written, I don't know, 4,000, 3,000 years ago? A bit before Jesus' time. Like, he probably read those books. Oh, true, he did. He had somebody teach him those lessons. He was a Jew. He went to... I'm going to get in so much trouble for my fucking lack of cultural knowledge. But... that's a really nice fucking... I like that. It's not a machete, but it fucking looks like one. So... let's be real. Yeah, Jesus went to his house of worship, okay? Fuck you, I don't know what it's called. The place where they went to worship. God, what does Yahweh mean again? I am that I am, or something like that? What? You know, Jesus had the teachings of the God of Moses instilled into him when he was a youth, right? That's undisputable. That was, like, that's even in the King James version of the Bible, that Jesus learned from the same God of David, the same God of Moses. Right? You've read those verses. I haven't. You know, it's... that stone tablet wasn't written down to be like... that stone tablet was just... the 10 commandments, or the 12 commandments, or the 20 commandments, or the 412 years ago commandments. Yeah, religion is built as a tool to better us. And it was a tool for understanding the world. But, and this is a very strong but, it reminds me of my own but, science does provide us with some tools for, you know, how to understand the universe and how best to safely interact with it. But it, unlike the Bible, actually, let me correct myself when I say that. Much like the Bible, in the same way as the Bible, science is revised regularly. But there is one significant difference between science and the Bible when we discuss the way that things are changed after they are first written. Science does not rewrite just for translation. And where it is rewritten for translation, it's probably best to not actually rewrite it for translation unless you have a very good personal understanding of both of the languages that you are trying to translate to and from. Because, of course, the language barrier breaks the way that science communication works. But it can be done. We can learn multiple languages. We have translators who can do that effectively. There are professionals who do that. Anyway, science revises itself under the guise of the scientific fucking method. This powerful tool of hypothesis, experiment, results, discussion, and conclusions. Now, a further detail of the scientific method that isn't taught in high school is that if your science does not draw on already existing science, it'll be controversial at best. And more likely, it'll be outright rejected as science. Because science is foundational. Let's be clear, like, the understanding that Isaac Newton gave us after he had the thought experiment of an apple falling on his head. Or maybe he did that when he was a kid, I don't know. Or maybe it actually happened. That'd be really funny if it did. He had that idea, and he created this model for how motion works, right? Force equals mass times acceleration. And he calculated that gravity had an acceleration of around 10 meters per second, give or take an order of magnitude. And then, you know, dozens, possibly even hundreds of scientists and mathematicians between the time of Isaac Newton and Albert Einstein, who are the two names that I can think of right now. And those men and women, very important to mention these women because they weren't mentioned by the men. This work built on the knowledge that Isaac Newton gave everybody, and it created firmer understanding for how the universe operates. It literally started the Industrial Revolution, right? When we learned that force equals mass times acceleration. And then Albie, old Albie, he comes along, and he's an old fella. Actually, he's not. He's probably like around my age when he's having these ideas in his head. He gains an understanding somehow. Let's be clear, this is like beyond human reasoning understanding, okay? What this guy came up with is something that you will not experience in your life. You will not be able to understand what he is talking about without taking a relatively high dose of psychedelics or just being as smart as the guy yourself. Maybe he took a large dose of psychedelics, actually. There's potential in that. There's potential in all of them, actually. But yeah, what he told us about, it's called relativity, where gravity is more than just an acceleration. He did have... He built on Isaac Newton's understanding of reality by doing relativity. He created an explanation that still holds up to experiment. He gave us an explanation that oh god, it's fucking hard to explain. So, space-time is a model used to describe the universe, where space and time are 4 dimensions, essentially. And there are factors at play in space-time that affect local conditions, which means it affects how time flows and how big space is. So we come across like ooh, beautiful old stump. So we come across... Hold on, why am I giving you the entire fucking history of science right now? That's not what I signed up for. I was just on a walk to ramble about rocks. Fuck you. If this gets 1 view, I'll make another one.